It was a cold, windy day on the Skarloey Railway. Fall was in full blast, and sweaters quickly became a common sight. At night, a thick fog would often roll in, covering the hills with poor visibility. The engines didn't like the fog at night. It created a very spooky atmosphere. One night, it was particularly bad up in the hills. Mr. Percival thought it was too dangerous for the trains to run. The engines were all stuck in their sheds. "Yeah, I've been through fog worse than this. There's no need to close the railway."
Yes, well, fog during the day is very different from fog at night, though. Even with a headlamp, it's very dangerous to go down the line when you can't see 2 feet in front of you.
"Well, we can't just sit here and do nothing."
I know. How about a story?
Yes, I know a lot of stories from Shakespeare or Edgar Allan Poe or...
I meant a scary story. You know, like a ghost story. Like when I saw Proteus.
No, that's not scary. We need one that has lots of blood. That won't scare anyone. That'll make us sick.
Well, I don't really have any good scary stories.
Neither do I.
I've got one.
The engines all glared at Duncan.
"You? It's not that stupid old incident at the old iron bridge, is it?" "No, it's something completely different." "Since when have you heard a decent ghost story?"
Exactly. You probably get scared of it yourself.
Oh, do be quiet. I would actually like to hear it, just to see how it is. Let's just listen, shall we?
Very well, then. Let's see how long we can get through without falling asleep.
Quiet. As no one else could find a good story, I guess you better take it away, Duncan.
Right. Ahem. Long ago, there was an engine. I don't know what his name was, or what he looked like, but there was something different about him. They say he never smiled, always had a haunting look on his face. He worked at the slate quarries because they say his behaviour was too dangerous for passengers. Who is this engine? I told you, I don't know what his name is, nor what he looked like. But what I do know is that his eyes were a glowing red. They say this engine was disturbingly unusual. He would purposefully push trucks over a cliff and run over animals that strayed onto the line. The manager was very distraught by his actions and decided to put him in the shed, never to be let out again. Everyone knew there was something wrong with this engine. Some say that he was created by none other than the devil himself. There he sat in the shed, eyeing the others as they went about doing their work. His eyes were apparently very disturbing and haunting, striking fear at anyone who he looked at. Then, one night, it happened. He killed himself? No! No one knows exactly what caused it, but there was a fire in the shed. The fire crew were called, but it was too late. The shed and the engine were already engulfed. In the flames, they couldn't see him anymore. But what they did see were two blazing, angry eyes. The engine burnt to the ground. His boiler was melted. But whether he survived or not is debatable. Oh yes, he was destroyed, but only his physical state. There are some who say the engine's spirit endured. And this spirit was not friendly like Casper. Oh no. Years passed, and things were normal until one night, two workmen claimed to have seen two strange luminescent almond-shaped objects in the distance. It was assumed that they were fireflies, but the driver of that engine decided to investigate. And that's the end of the story. They were never seen again. Over the years, there have been several similar cases where people have seen two flaming eyes by a railway, but not all live to tell the tale. Rumour has it
that a little engine crossing an old iron bridge saw the eyes in the mist below, and then he was suddenly swept off the bridge and plunged into the swamps below. When the workmen searched the water, they could not find him. He was never found again. So just remember, wherever you are, someone may always be watching you. The other engines were as still as ice. They gazed at Duncan, silent and shivering.
Ooh, well, that was actually quite a ghost story.
Indeed, quite unexpected. Yes, but wait, you got that engine who fell off a bridge from me.
So it's a fake story.
It's a ghost story. It could be true or false. You decide. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to sleep.
And he did, and very easily, as all the other engines didn't. They were curious and scared from the story, especially Bertram, who rarely changed his smile. The next day, the fog wasn't as bad, and the trains ran like normal. The engines all worked hard, but they kept thinking about Duncan's story.
What's that? Who's there?
But it was only a light tower.
There's no evil eyes. They don't exist.
Later, Duncan and Sir Handel were at the Remastered station when Mr. Percival came with bad news.
The road bridge at Cross Nykurin has collapsed and is blocking the line. There's quite a lot of damage, so it will take until tomorrow morning to clear it. I'm sorry, but in other words, you'll have to spend the night here. Oh, you've got to be joking! Fiddlesticks! Oh, well, at least we have a shed. Yes, you do have a shed. Consider yourself lucky. Others are stuck at Lakeside or the quarry. The facilities there are not as luxurious. Well, I guess we're stuck.
And they were. That evening, the fog came back, thicker than ever. Duncan was trying to sleep, but Sir Handel was nervous.
The eyes aren't real, are they? Yeah, that's for you to decide, my dear boy. But shut up! I'm trying to sleep!
There's no eyes. It's only a story.
Or is it? Yes, the devil engine is a-comin'. His eyes will... Who was that? What? I've never heard that whistle before. Whistle? What whistle? Didn't you hear it? I didn't hear any whistle, Duncan. Where are you going?
Duncan puffed out into the foggy abyss to see what was going on. What happened next, no one knows to this day.
No! Duncan? What happened? Where are you going? Run for your life! It's the eyes! The eyes? What eyes? You look like you've had a stroke, Duncan.
The eyes of the engine from my ghost story.
I didn't see them, but yeah, I just ran just in case.
Didn't you make that story up, Duncan?
Yes, I did.
Then how could it be true?
Duncan was too disturbed to respond. He didn't speak until he reached the safety of his shed.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I do.
You had a hallucination, Duncan. You were so scared the whole time that your mind played tricks on you.
Yeah, Duke's exactly right. When we're frightened or paranoid, we sometimes see things in our mind that aren't really there.
So, there are no eyes?
Of course not. You said it yourself. You made them up. It was all in your head.
No, it wasn't. I saw them.
Scared of your own story, Duncan? Oh, this is funny. Duncan almost said something, but grunted and hurried off to do his daily work.
Ah, well, we all know what happens when Duncan gets spooked.
Yeah, I knew it was fake. Engine with unknown name, suffering a terrible fate. He got all that from when I told him about that engine on the old iron bridge. In fact, he even mentioned that explicitly.
Yes, well, about that old iron bridge engine, you do know that actually happened, don't you?
Why, yes, you and Remastered told me.
Well, we didn't know what that engine's name was. We hardly ever saw it.
Really?
Yes, Sir Handel.
Well, what point are you trying to make?
Point is, that engine was a huge mystery. In fact, we don't know what happened after he fell off the bridge. I mean, he can't have simply disappeared from existence. There must be a reason why he was never found again.
The engines never did find out if the incident with the eyes was real or not. The old iron bridge, on the other hand, well, that's another story.